Welcome to how to grid out an image. So what we're going to do first is you have to pick your image. So we have a level 1 image, which is considered level 1 because it's just a silhouette of a horse with very little negative shape in there. There's only a few parts. There's a level 2 image, which is Abe Lincoln. It's considered level 2 because the drawing difficulty is a little bit more because there's more negative shapes in there, so it's a little bit more harder to draw. Level 3 image, the difference between 2 to 3, there's value difference in here. So if you're pretty good at drawing and you're pretty good at drawing shapes and shading, this would be an image you'd want to choose. And even though this one says level 3, I consider it level 4. It's the Mona Lisa. So there's a difference in value. The shapes are pretty difficult to draw, and you have to go grid by grid definitely for this one. All right, so once you've picked your image, the first thing you're going to want to do after you pick your image, you also need a pencil, an eraser, 2 pieces of tagboard, and then also your art survey sheet. So once you get your art survey sheet and get those things and get to your seat, what you're going to do is first thing put your name and your class ID. Okay? After you put your name and your class ID on there, you want to take your paper and you want to turn it so that it is portrait orientation. And then you're going to label A, B, C, D, and E across the top, outside of the boxes, and 1 through 7 down the side. Doesn't matter which side. Okay? So, I'm going to use the horse for the demonstration. You won't be able to take the horse and just put it underneath here because you're going to be enlarging the horse in this grid. So, we're going to set this off to the side for now. For the horse, the first thing you want to do is, or whatever it is that you're drawing, whether it's Abe Lincoln, Mona Lisa, or Michael Jordan, you're going to fold it. It's not quite in half. It's a little less than half. And then you're going to draw this upside down. It's going to feel weird. It's going to seem like the drawing is incorrect, but it will look better when you flip it right side up. Just wait till you're finished to flip it right side up. So the first thing you're going to want to do is A through E across the top and 1 through 7 down the side. Now, to help place the different parts of the image where it should be on your art survey sheet when you're drawing, what you want to do is place some X's in the boxes here where there's no part of the image. The horse has got 10 boxes. If you're doing Abe Lincoln, it has got 3. And the Michael Jordan and the Mona Lisa, all of the boxes are filled in. So from there, what you're going to want to do, you'll take your paper, and I'm going to put an X in A1 because there's an X in A1 here. X in A2 because there's an X here. And then you just keep going with that, transferring the X's into the appropriate boxes. Now, from here, what you're going to do is you want to use the tagboard pieces. The purpose of the tagboard pieces is to block off the rest of the image, so you're just looking at whatever is in the box that you're starting with, or the square that you're starting with. So I'm going to start with box E1. You can start anywhere on the paper. It's totally up to you, and how you move through the grid is totally up to you too. You could go down, you could go across, it doesn't matter. Now, if you feel comfortable, you can just draw that in box E1. Okay, you don't want to draw it in E2, you want to draw it in E1. So part of this is you got to make sure that you're getting the correct shape in the correct box. If you're not comfortable doing that, you can put in what I would call some reference points. So for this, I'm going to look at where the edge of this shape goes out of the box or into the box. So if I'm looking at right here, I'm not going to put a dot here or here. I'm going to put it right here. As an artist, you're always trying to increase your skills and observation, and this is one of the ways to help it, simplify it so you can observe a little bit better. Same thing on this side here. I'm not going to put my reference point here or here. It's probably going to be someplace more like this. The other thing you can do is you can use your pencil as a measuring tool. So now that I have my dots in, I can go in, use my pencil to line it up with the edge of that shape there. I'm going to bump it over to here, and you can sketch that line in. It's just the guideline, sketching it in lightly, then double check. Then we go from here, line it up. Same thing. Kind of put that line in. Then from there you can go in, you can kind of shape it out a little bit. and then you can erase your guidelines. Now, this is not exactly what I have here, but it's pretty close. Remember, they're going to be larger in the boxes here, so they're not going to look exactly like what we see in our image. Now, from there, you could go over to the next one and draw the darker shapes that you see in that box. I recommend that you shade as you go. It doesn't have to be perfect shading, but it helps you to keep track of what's dark and what's light. And then I'm going to go down to D2. So one of the things I wanted to talk about is sometimes you have to focus on the negative shape in order to draw the positive shapes. So in this part here, the negative shape is the white areas. So I'm going to focus on the white areas and focus on drawing that shape versus trying to draw the black, spindly, linear shapes that we have there. So I'm going to start. You can kind of measure again if you need to. We're drawing in pencil, so it's never too late to, if you make a mistake, just erase. And I have those angles in there. And you can go in. So I have one shape drawn. I'm going to draw this other one. Alright, and then I'm going to shade in this area here. You want to keep going, okay, block by block, down or over, until you're all done and it looks like this. Once it looks like this, then you can flip it and check out how well you did. You don't want to continue flipping it back and forth, though. Because what that's going to do is going to mess with your mind a little bit. If you leave your image flipped upside down the whole time you're drawing it, it makes it a little bit easier just to focus on the shapes.